The shelter had a simple rule about the snowbengal in Kennel 7. Don't reach your hand in, don't make direct eye contact for more than a few seconds, and under no circumstances try to pick her up. The staff had not made these rules arbitrarily. They had made them after 8 months of watching every single visitor who approached Kennel 7 leave with the same expression, somewhere between startled and personally offended, after a silver and white paw shot through the kennel bars faster than anyone expected and connected with whatever happened to be closest. Her name was Frost. She was 2 years old, a snowbengal with a coat the color of winter light and eyes so green they looked almost artificial in photographs. She was also, according to her official rescue file, the most returned cat Clover Hill Animal Shelter had processed in 3 years. First return, 3 weeks. Reason listed, unpredictable behavior. Second return, 11 days. Reason, aggression toward visitors. Third return, 4 days. The adopter had simply brought her back without calling ahead, set the carrier on the front desk, and left without signing the paperwork. By the time month 8 arrived, the shelter director had a difficult conversation scheduled for the following Tuesday. Frost had been on the adoption floor longer than any other animal in the building. She had bitten 1 volunteer, scratched 2 adopters, and last Wednesday had reached through the kennel bars and knocked a coffee cup directly out of a staff member's hand, with what several witnesses described as unsettling precision. The Tuesday meeting was not going to go well for Frost. Rachel Nguyen walked into Clover Hill on a Saturday morning 3 days before that meeting. She was not there to adopt a cat. She was there to drop off a donation of food and blankets, which she did twice a year, and she was planning to be in and out in under 20 minutes. She was walking back through the adoption floor toward the exit when she took a wrong turn and ended up in the back corridor where the longer-term residents were housed. She heard nothing from Kennel 7. No sound, no movement. She almost walked past it entirely. Then she saw the paw. It wasn't aggressive. That was the thing nobody had apparently stopped to consider. It wasn't a swipe, wasn't a strike. It was a single silver paw, extended through the kennel bars, held completely still in the air, like something waiting to be noticed. Rachel stopped walking. Frost looked at her. Rachel looked at Frost. The paw stayed exactly where it was. Rachel laughed, not nervously, not politely. She actually laughed, the way you do when something surprises you into it. And she said out loud to nobody in particular, "Are you waving at me?" Frost held the paw up for another 3 seconds. Then she pulled it back in, sat down, and continued looking at Rachel with the patient, level expression of someone who has made a perfectly reasonable gesture and is now waiting to see what happens next. Rachel did not leave in 20 minutes. She sat down, cross-legged on the floor in front of Kennel 7 and stayed for 2 full hours. She came back the next day, and the day after that. On the third day, a Sunday, she arrived to find a notice on Kennel 7 that she didn't fully understand and asked a staff member to explain it. The staff member explained it quietly and without much detail because there wasn't much to add. Rachel filled out adoption paperwork before she left the building. If you've followed this channel for any length of time, you already know that the cats who get labeled difficult are almost never the actual problem. And if you're new here, this is a good moment to subscribe. We tell these stories because they matter, and there are a lot more of them. Hit the button. I'll wait. The first week at Rachel's apartment was quiet in a way the shelter had not prepared her for. Frost did not hide. She did not pace. She did not do any of the things the discharge paperwork warned Rachel to expect from a cat with her history. She explored the apartment once, thoroughly, in a single circuit that took about 40 minutes. Then she sat in the center of the living room, looked at Rachel, and raised 1 paw. Rachel raised her hand back. Frost put her paw down. Apparently satisfied, she walked to the window, jumped up onto the sill, and spent the next hour watching the street below with the focused attention of someone who had just acquired a significant amount of new information and was taking the appropriate time to process it. Snowbengals are not a widely understood variety, even among people who know the breed well. They carry a recessive gene that suppresses the warm golden tones typical of standard Bengals, leaving a coat of cool silver and white that makes their markings look like frost on glass, which is, in Frost's case, exactly what her name referred to. They share all the intelligence and intensity of their more common relatives. They are curious, observant, and socially complex in ways that standard temperament assessments are genuinely not built to measure. What looks like aggression in a Bengal is frequently something else entirely: overstimulation, miscommunication, a cat that has learned through repeated experience that reaching out gets punished while staying back gets ignored, and has started doing the only thing left that reliably produces a reaction, which is making the reaction impossible to ignore. Nobody at Clover Hill had considered that Frost might not be striking at people. Nobody had considered that she might simply be reaching for them. Rachel had considered it in about 4 seconds. By week 3, Frost had established a daily routine that Rachel described to her sister as the most organized thing in the entire apartment. Morning, window. Midday, wherever Rachel happened to be working. Afternoon, the cat tree by the radiator. Evening, Rachel's lap, specifically the left side, with both front paws extended over Rachel's knee in a posture that looked, every single time, like someone settling in to watch something they had been quietly waiting a long time for. She still raised the paw. She did it when Rachel came home, when Rachel sat down, when Rachel was on the phone, and Frost decided the call had simply gone on long enough. She did it in the way that had gotten her labeled aggressive at 3 different homes and nearly cost her everything. She did it now the way it had actually been intended, as a hello, as a question, as the particular communication style of a cat who had been trying for 2 full years to find someone fluent in the same language. Rachel sent a photo to the shelter 6 months after the adoption. Frost asleep on her chest, one silver paw resting lightly on Rachel's collarbone, the brilliant green eyes finally closed, the whole posture completely and entirely relaxed. The shelter director printed it out and put it on the bulletin board in the break room, where it stayed. Here's what I haven't been able to stop thinking about since I first heard this story. Frost was 3 days from a decision that couldn't be undone. 3 days. And what changed everything wasn't a new program, wasn't a behavioral specialist, wasn't any kind of formal intervention at all. It was one person who looked at a raised paw and decided to wave back. How many animals, how many people, honestly, are out there right now just waiting for someone to finally read the signal correctly? Tell me in the comments, have you ever misread something as a warning that turned out to be an invitation?